Hey guys, this is Rick, the layman apologist. Sorry I sound a little funny. I got a little cold or sinus infection going on. Just wanted to do a quick video. I'm in the process of reading Signature in the Cell by Stephen C. Meyer. Is that it? Yeah, Stephen C. And in Ends and Odds, one of the chapters on page 211, he gives an analogy trying to show how unlikely it is that 150 amino acids could come together randomly to create a protein. And the example he gives is one that reminds me of an example that Mike Winger gave on a video. Unfortunately, I've been unable to find that video. I've looked around and watched multiple videos and scanned through trying to find that video. In that video, it's the opposite. Instead of the odds being so far against something happening, it's the odds that something has to happen because they're so great. And so I just wanted to create a quick video to show these two things that I found kind of interesting, and hopefully you will too. I'll start with Stephen Meyer, as that's what I was most recently doing. In his book, he's referring to work done by a gentleman by the last name of Axe, and it says, Axe's work was published in a series of papers in the Journal of Molecular Biology, Biochemistry, and the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences between 1996 and 2004. And like I said, in that, he's trying to show the likelihood of 150 amino acid sequences that can perform a particular function to become a protein. And even in one thing, is another gentleman by the name of Robert Sauer was working on a shorter protein of only 100 amino acids. Axe's number might seem a bit less prohibitive or improbable. Nevertheless, it still represents a startlingly small probability. In conversations with me, Axe has compared the odds of producing a functional protein sequence of modest 150 amino acid length at random to the odds of finding a single marked atom out of all the atoms in the galaxy with a blind and undirected search. Believe it or not, the odds of finding the marked atom in our galaxy are markedly better, about 1 billion times better than those of finding a functional protein among all the sequences of corresponding length. This is very significant results. Building on that, Robert Sauer and others, Axe established a reliable quantitative estimate of the rarity of functional sequences within corresponding space of possible amino acid sequences, thereby providing the answer to the question first posed at the Worcester Symposium. Though proteins tolerate a range of possible amino acids at some sites, functional proteins are still extremely rare within the whole set of possible amino acid sequences. In June 2007, Axe had a chance to present his findings at a symposium commemorating the publication of the proceedings from the original Worcester Symposium 40 years earlier. In attendance at this symposium in Boston was retired MIT engineering professor Murray Eden, with a still incisive mind at the age of 87. Eden had been one of the original people at the Worcester Conference, and was the one who had most forcefully explained the combinatorial problem facing neo-Darwinism 40 years later. Axe's experimental work had now confirmed Eden's initial intuition. The odds are prohibitively stacked against a random process producing functional proteins. Functional proteins are exceedingly rare among all possible combinations of amino acids. So basically what it's saying is amino acids form proteins, and there are all kinds of different lengths. I mean, some of them are even thousands of amino acids to form a single protein. But to do one at 100 or 150 amino acids long, that's an actual functional protein, you have 1 billion to 1 better odds of literally, if you could take a Sharpie and mark one single atom in our galaxy, and then have somebody come along behind you at a random search through the entire galaxy and have them be able to, on their first try, select that atom. And I mean, that's just stupid. I mean, if that doesn't say impossible, I don't know what does. And then the thing that it reminded me of was Mike Winger, who is one of the best people out there when it comes to being a really good teaching ministry. I've listed him and mentioned him in another video, and he did a video where he was talking about, I believe it was the work of a guy named Peter Stoner. Peter Stoner wrote a book was published in 1958 by Moody Press, and in that book he talks about the probabilities of different things in the Bible being true or not true, and it's broken up into three parts: the Genesis record, the calculations regarding messianic prophecy, and then the accuracy of prophecy. And in Mike Winger's video, he talked about the probability of finding, I think he said it was either an atom or electron in the galaxy that you marked with a Sharpie, and then you sent somebody around. I think he used the Doctor Who telephone booth thing that can go anywhere. So he says you get in that and you go to some place in the universe and you mark a atom or electron, and then you zip back to Earth, and then you let somebody else get in there, and they have to go randomly throughout the entire galaxy and open the door and take some tiny tweezers and reach out and grab that same atom or electron that you marked. And that's how improbable it is that Jesus isn't the Messiah, because of the probability that he fulfilled these 8 prophecies. And so, like I say, I think that was work that was based on Peter Stoner that he did back in the 50s. And then this guy that I found online had written an article kind of summarizing the book and the findings. And he has I think it's a copy from the 70s that he found. And the people that republished it and looked at the American Scientific Affiliation, they looked over the numbers and stuff to make sure it was accurate before they republished the book. So anyways, Peter Stoner's calculations regarding messianic prophecy says Peter Stoner calculated, sorry, my nose is terrible over the sinus infection. I sound like an idiot. Peter Stoner calculated the probability of just 8 messianic prophecies being fulfilled in the life of Jesus. As you read through these prophecies, you'll see the estimates are calculated conservatively as possible. And it's, Jesus, the Messiah, being born in Bethlehem. The messenger will prepare the way. John the Baptist, the Messiah, will enter Jerusalem riding on a donkey. The Messiah will be betrayed by a friend and suffer wounds on his hands. The Messiah will be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. The betrayal money will be used to purchase a potter's field. The Messiah will remain silent after he is afflicted. The Messiah will die having his hands and feet pierced, from Psalm 22, and it gives the different scripture references and stuff, but those are the ones that they used for this exercise. And it says, multiplying all these probabilities together produce a number, because each one of them they give a probability for each prophecy. And it says, multiplying all these probabilities together produces a number rounded off of 1 times 10 to the 28th power. Dividing this number by an estimate of the number of people who have lived since the time of these prophecies, 88 billion, produces a probability of all 8 prophecies being fulfilled accidentally in the life of one person. That probability is 1 in 10 to the 27th, or 1 in 100 quadrillion. So that's showing the number. And so in the numbers that Axe was using, he said his best estimate was that the probability that you could get 150 amino acid functional protein, to come together randomly by accident is 1 to the 10th power of 77. So 1 times 10 to the 77th power. And so you see where they got their numbers and what they're thinking of when they're talking about how to reconcile this and what you would have the likelihood of doing. And I just think it's really interesting that these guys, Mike Winger in his video, and then Stephen Meyer in his book, using this thing about marking an atom or marking an electron, one showing how likely it is that Jesus is who he said he was, and then the other showing how unlikely it is for abiogenesis, because that's where the secularists and the humanists and people, they hang their hat on. They can't explain abiogenesis, but their mindset is on the whole prebiotic soup and stuff like that, how it all came together randomly and by accident. And this shows, I mean, it's just absolutely impossible. I did another video a few weeks ago talking about, doubting Darwinism, and it's the same thing in that it's how unlikely it is that these things could happen. And in that video, I talked about how there haven't been enough events. I mean, it's literally just like orders of magnitude, just exponentially more events would need to have happened to give the opportunity for the DNA and the different things that would have to follow, each generation to be able to come together to try to create life. And it's so many more times. I can't remember, it's like 200 times. It's like 1 to 10 to the 270th something is the number of events that would need to occur to get one random life. And there's only been like 10 to the 77th or 10 to the 100th events throughout all of the time the universe has been around. So, they keep expanding, scientists and secularists and these people, they want to say that everything can be an accident, everything can be from chance. You just need enough time. And you can watch that video and see more of what I had to say about time. The more time you put into something, the more it gets messed up. It doesn't get better. And in this book, Signature in the Cell, Stephen Meyer is really explaining things well and making easy to understand how the processes work and how unlikely it is and how difficult it is to get life from a prebiotic soup, or to have things go through the whole process of the natural selection, and for things just to happen without a guided process. So, hope you like the video. Sorry I'm sick and I sound terrible, I know. But if you really care about truth, if you really care about knowing the truth and finding out what is real, you have to look at both sides of it. And in the books that I've read from Darwin, not Darwin, I'm sorry, but like The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins, and the Blind Watchmaker by Richard Dawkins, and neither of those books are there any real scientific philosophies or statements. There's a lot of speculation, and like in the Blind Watchmaker, well, if you can't imagine this, then imagine one step closer to this, or whatever. When it's talking about how an eye would evolve, and they count on millions and billions of years to be able to account for the time and possibility that these things could have randomly happened. But whenever you get to the actual numbers, and like I said, it's in that other video, they claim right now that the Earth and the universe, say the Earth is 4 billion years old, and the universe is 17 billion years old, or 14 billion years old. But for life to have evolved by accident, the numbers say you would need 125 billion years to be able to get to that. And so the Earth is 4.5 billion years old. We're not even 5% of the time has taken place to create the first life, much less everything that's going on. So it's a lot of good information. Like I said in my original video, I watch a lot of videos and debates with Christians and atheists, and I try to read different books and I mostly listen to things on Audible because of the time constraints I have with my job and everything. But I hope that I can bring and digest information from some of these different sources that folks don't have the time to be able to delve into. And so I want to keep taking that time and then bringing out little nuggets here and there that help to encourage believers that what we believe is right, is rational, and we're not crazy, and we're not gullible, and we're not being naive, and we're not delusional like a lot of the people on the other side tend to say we are. So again, I apologize for the voice and the nose and nasally. I hope you liked it. I'm going to be doing some more videos here hopefully soon. Things at work have gotten a little bit better, so hopefully staffing wise will be good, and I'll have more time to be able to do more research and do more videos and bring more content that you'll enjoy. So God bless you. Hope you have a great day. Thanks.